factor. It's just as if you are trying to say, well, it can't be managed medically.
Yes.
There's nothing to be done exactly. If one outrightly says it's not medical, it's just as if, well, there's nothing about medicine that has to do with it and all of that. So I feel they are still kind of interconnected, and they all needs different
Yes.
approach from different angles to actually manage this condition. So it's not just a one-way thing. It should be managed from different angles. So that's what I think about it.
That's well, from the perspective of lived experience, I can say you couldn't have captured it better, because when you are caring for them, there are aspects of their challenges that requires medical attention, which is where the pediatricians and the doctors come in. There are aspects of their management that requires therapeutic, which is where the occupational therapies and the speech therapies come in. But there are also some aspects of their challenges that require, should I put nutritional under medical, which is where we come in. But the truth is that there is still not an agreement. There has still not been an agreement among all these people to say, look, everybody has equally important point to play. Joy Ben, do you please just lend your voice to the discussion? The discussion is ASD, is it neurodevelopmental? Is it a disease? Is it supposed to be just a disorder, or is it a disease like you could go to hospital for? Or is it something that we believe that it is environmental, or is it genetic? What do you think? What is your opinion about this? Yes. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Just a minute. Yeah, but I'm hearing you. Hello, Joy Ben. I can hear you.
Okay, from my own perspective, and based on my experience so far working with my son, I think it's not medical anyway. For me, I feel for my son, it should be environmental.
Okay.
Yeah, because if I will recall from when I gave birth to him and when he regressed, I think there was a problem in between. Yeah,
Okay.
initially I actually did not know what the problem was, but I knew exactly when there was a
It started. Yes.
I knew exactly when there was a disconnection. There was actually a disconnection around about 18 months.
Yes.
About 18 months, yeah. So from 18 months till about yeah, sometime around 18 months to 20 months, I saw that disconnection. Because my son was someone that when I had him, everything was normal. And at 6 months, I was already, because I did exclusive. At 6 months, I was already feeding him the normal way I feed my other kids, like giving him plantain, giving him mashed potato, giving him like avocado with all of that stuff, and he was
Yes.
eating very well. The reason why I knew it was environmental was because I had him the same time I had my sister-in-law had her own son. So she's
Yes.
always doing like a comparison. Jesse is doing so well. He's eating everything. My son is not eating. Like
Yes.
when I mean my son is not eating, your own son is eating. What do you do? What are you doing? And like it's a normal food everybody eats. If you bring a ban soup, the boy will just grab it. If you bring any food, he munches on it and all of that. So, but when that disconnection happened, everything ceased. It was as if there was something happened in the brain.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yeah, it was as if the whole system changed, like taking off everything in the memory of the child and then replacing it with nothing. So, as a mother, you know your child,
Yes.
how far you've gone with your baby. And then all of a sudden, the baby wasn't accepting anything anymore. If you give him food, he will not take the food. Even water. It was that bad. He wasn't taking
Yes.
anything, and then you don't notice that your child, that when you come back from work, he will just open his arms and, my mom is back. All of a sudden, the child is focusing on the TV. He wants to watch all the drama. He wants to jump and want to play. He wants to just stay on his own. And that was when we knew there was a problem. But how do
Yeah.
we solve the problem? We don't know. So I feel it's actually environmental. From my
Yes.
own experience, it was actually environmental. Yeah.
Exactly. Joy, the thing is, anyway, just to introduce Joy. Joy is a long-time client of mine, very diligent and intentional mother. In fact, I always admire her strength. And the truth is that the story you just told is not very far from my own story. This was a child that was just, she was already even learning our language for you to know how good it was. When she hears like goats bleating, you say, ewu, ewu, You could identify animal with the, sound.
Their sound.
And then the whatever happened, and she lost everything. So it's basically similar stories, and I must say a lot of parents have the same story. Then could it?
So that means it makes it not congenital.
That is the point now. That is why it is a discussion. That's why it's a topic of discussion. Because whatever happened, happened at some point, and what science is saying is that there must have been something that is not optimal for whatever happened to have happened. Because in some cases, that the same exposure that the child got, in terms of whatever you must have noticed, incidents that happened before the child started losing all those milestones. You must have had another child that went through the same exposure, right? You must have exposed 3-4 of your children to the same exposure. Like me, I exposed like one other child around the same time, because she's just like a year, 18 months older than the younger brother. So everything I did to her, I did to the brother. So the question we are asking is, why is it that this person got so negatively impacted and this one did not get much impacted? So it is neurodevelopmental, in the sense that the children are not developing at the rate their siblings or maybe their mates are developing. So in that aspect, it is neurodevelopmental. From Joy's perspective and the perspective of many other parents, it is environmental. But before the environmental was able to exert its impact, it means that something genetical was not very optimal. That is the point we are trying to make now. So this has become a heated argument where parents just feel that, yes, something was done to their child and then something became amiss. But the question we are still asking ourselves is, why is it that something happened to this first child and you experienced that drastic negative change? The same thing happened to this other child and nothing happened. I mean, nothing negative happened to this other child. So, and then there is also this school of thought that is saying that it is not medical. But we parents, Joy can bear me witness that many of these things are medical. By the time we perform medical tests, we see things that if you perform it on a neurotypical child, you will not see. all our intervention at Brain Foods are dependent on medical test outcomes. Yes. And the things we see is pointing to the fact that all of these factors are playing together. All of the factors we are listing right now.
It can't be isolated.
Yes. You cannot isolate one from the other. Let me explain. How I explain it is that there is a medical condition which can be said to be genetical, that is existing in the body, that made it possible for environmental assault to kind of topple the scale. I mean, to aggravate the environmental assault to the extent that it begins to affect the developmental pace. I don't know if you guys are following me together. So many times children with autism that are found to have regressed, these are children that have a particular genetic disposition that when they were exposed to an environmental assault, this genetic disposition is such that the body was not able to handle that environmental assault effectively. So because they were not able to handle that environmental assault effectively, the body lost its development, its pace of development, which now resulted to a neurodevelopmental disorder, which in this case is autism. Of course, autism is not the only neurodevelopmental disorder, but in this case, this is what can be said to have happened before a child became, got to that stage where they can be said to be on the autism spectrum. So the question again is, how do we begin to tackle this? What do you do? Do you tackle the environmental? Do you tackle the medical? Do you tackle the physical? Or do you tackle the genetic? Is there something you have to say about this, Temilade?
Well, like we've all said earlier, there are different angles to this thing.
Yes.
Now, asking if we can, which aspects to tackle. Let me start from the genetic aspect. I feel genetics isn't something so straightforward that can just be changed. Due to, like, from a medical point of view. Now I'm speaking from science point of view. It's not something that can just be suddenly altered like that, just looking from a layman's perspective.
Yes.
So I would say from the medical perspective, that is the use of medical therapy, maybe through drugs and other medical assistance, that can be modified to some extent in order to ensure that the child gets better and the child improves, because we might not necessarily be able to change the genes causing, at least to the best of my knowledge from science currently, might not necessarily be able to like alter those genes that are that could be the reason why those things are happening, but medical rehabilitation, medical support can still be given to improve the child's outcome. Yeah, that's what I want to say about that.
Yeah. Which makes a lot of sense. Joy, is there something you have to say about how the best approach to supporting these children?
Okay, for me, early intervention in every area is very important,
Yes.
especially running a comprehensive test for the child.
Yes.
I think that should be the first basis. You run a test, know exactly what deficiency the child has.
Yes.
Because when we started, a lot of us we see any supplement, we see anything, people say, oh, this can help speech, you go and buy. This can help calmness, you buy. This can help this. You're just pumping a lot into the child, believing that it is going to be magic.
Yeah.
You know, as time goes on, you discover that it's not that way.
Yes.
So early intervention in the sense that, you know, you run a test, find out what is the deficiency the child has, what is causing the reaction, what is causing the behavior, what is causing the tantrums, what is happening in the system of the child.
Yes.
And when that is established, you know, the other part is to also try to go into nutrition, ensure that the child is eating the right nutrients to suit the particular deficiency to build it up. And then when that is also done, ensure that the child is receiving therapy. I believe that if the child is taking the right nutrition and then therapy starts early as possible. Very important as possible. But unfortunately, in this part of the world, in Nigeria, we don't get good therapies around. I don't know. I know Ijoma is working in the UK. So
no, I am still rooted in Nigeria.
So yeah, you know, so if you get the right therapy, right intervention, you know, early
on time.
Yes, on time. It goes a long way in assisting the children. I've seen a lot of children on the spectrum. By the time they are already 8, 9, they're thriving, they're doing well.
Yes.
In fact, they hardly know that anything is wrong with them. If you check the background, discover that there was the right intervention, the right people.
Yes, exactly.
The right intervention, the right people, and then the right medication, not just taking it on the roadside and everybody's doing it. I want to do it because children, the spectrum is different. It's actually hard. Every child is different when it comes to this journey. So what works for A might not work for B.
Exactly. Speak it from the top rooftop, oh Joy. Tell it.
Yes. Just go to get what is wrong. Your own child is peculiar. Like for my son, there's a lot of peculiarity different from other children.
Yeah.
So I've come to realize that, and then running a test has really done a lot for us. Initially, there was even a time I was giving a lot of spinach, a lot of vegetables, until I had to do a test, and they said, "Oh, his oxalate level is high."
Yes.
If I don't run the test, I wouldn't know that oxalate level. I didn't even know that I'm not supposed to give ugu. Like ugu is vegetable in Igbo.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was not supposed to give that as bad as it ugu. And like you can take all vegetables. Vegetable is good. And I was doing it not knowing I was increasing his oxalate level.
Yes.
So, but the help of tests, I was just like, okay, I need to cut down on this. I need to stay on this level. I need to build his calcium. I need to give him magnesium. What kind of magnesium I'm supposed to do? At what level it is right now? What level am I supposed to give? And so that is a whole lot. So, but that early intervention, you know, when you're able to calm the child down, you're able to get the child to be focused, you're able to get the child to be attentive, you're able to get speech and language, you're done.
Yes.
So this I have to say.
Yeah.
That means it seems so complex than we can even imagine. That is the care. It's not just something that somebody should take with levity. One needs like professional care and like the right facilities need to be in place in order to handle this condition effectively. Wow. That's a lot.
It's a whole lot.
It's a whole lot. And like I used to tell parents, what you are battling is extraordinary. Don't, you know, a lot of parents will be like, but every other child is eating this. Why shouldn't I give him? He's feeling left out. And I'm like, look, your child is not every other child. If he was every other child, why is he not running around like every other child? Why are you not gisting with him or her like every other child? So by the time you understand that what you have in your hand is special, you have to put special care. Like Joy said, if I told you the kind of things we see in medical tests, you will realize that every child like this, they can even be siblings, but you cannot recommend the same things for them because the test will show like, you know, eons apart of, you know, realities that is happening inside of their body. So the question which was, Should we tackle medically, physically, genetically, or environmentally? My answer is we will do all of them. Okay, look at from Joy's submission now, you have seen that she had to go medical, she had to go therapeutic, she had to go nutritional, and environmental. At least I know that one, where we say, okay, you don't have to be using too much chemical in their cream, you don't have to be using soap and all of that that has high level of ingredients. You don't have to be using air fresheners in the house like it's water. You have to go natural. You have to reduce the level of contaminants, the level of toxicants that they come in contact with. I remember that time when I was working with Joy, we used to go like far. We say, don't even take the child when you're filling your gas. If you're going to the gas station, don't put them in the car with you, because most of the fuel at home are leaded, and we all know that lead is heavy metal. Aside that, just inhaling all those fumes, because every other person can take up a lot of things and their body will take care of it. But these children, because of that genetic disposition, every toxicant is relevant to them. Every toxicant, there's nothing like insignificant toxicants in their body, because their body is not managing toxicants the way that every other person's body is managing. So what we are looking at is a holistic approach to an individual's health. If you are a parent with a child on the spectrum, like Joy is saying and she is doing, it's not just about saying it here, I know she does it. You work with different professionals, drawing from different angles, seeing that this is this part of the challenge is this person that caters for it, this other part of the challenge, it is this person that caters for it. And by the time you involve 2-3 professionals, there is no way you don't see improvement in your child. But a very important point she made is doing the medical test. Like I tell parents, medical test is like your roadmap. It's like a map. You use that map. You know how when you're going out or when you go out on a trip, you have to use map to find your way. That is what medical test does for these children. Because a lot of times we see things that there's no way you will identify that thing with your ordinary eyes. Okay, now look at what Joy said about oxalate. There's no way you will know that your child is having oxalates in their body. It doesn't show in their leg or their hands. It's only test that shows it. Things like some hidden allergies. There's even no way you will know that your child has allergies to certain things. There was a child we did a test for, and we realized that this child is allergic to ginger, is allergic to sweet potato, is allergic to rice, is allergic to plantain, is allergic. In fact, by the time I saw that test, I was so afraid that there will be no option. Pardon?
I said really, and those are common foods that one wouldn't even think of that people could be allergic to.
Exactly. That is why these children are special. And that is why we keep urging parents, don't take it guesswork. Don't guess, because which one are you going to guess? Which one, where will you start from and where will you finish?
My dad was giving ofada rice. I stopped the regular rice on ofada rice.
Yes.
But the last test I did for Jessie this year shows that I should not give rice at all.
Imagine.
Not even ofada, not even basmati, not anything that looks like rice.
That rice, you see?
Really?
Yeah.
Imagine. Was it still Genova? Sorry, Mosaic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, back to Mosaic, yeah.
Okay.
But it's quite better now because we could eat almost everything now.
Okay.
the things he wasn't able to eat before, like ginger is back, like the nuts is back. He can eat nuts now. He should take care, but just the rice.
Yeah, you see. So who would imagine that a child is allergic to rice? Maybe not allergic, but who would imagine that a child should not be taking rice? So allergy is just one thing. Another thing could be things like that the things we find out from organic acid tests. Maybe you have some inborn errors of metabolism, accumulation of organic acids, which is where you see the oxalates and their likes. And then you start talking about nutritional imbalances. So these things are very, very common in these children, but they are not things that you would otherwise just take a look and see. So the test, first step, second step, if you have someone who can interpret it for you, good, and then you dive in. Diving in will mean using multifaceted approach. You work on the nutrition, you work on the medical. Okay, like there was a child we did tests early this year, and we realized that this child has bowel inflammation. We had to bring in a medical doctor for that because it was really advanced. It was a bad one that if care was not taken, it would have needed even surgery. And the child was just very restless, does not sleep, cannot communicate, and everyone just attributed it to autism. Everyone just said, it's because he's autistic. So if we did not go that route, who would have known? Even though bowel inflammation, anybody can have a bowel inflammation. It is not peculiar to only children with autism, but I'm sure that every regular, mainstream diagnosis could have just attributed what was happening to him as autism. But immediately we started treating the bowel inflammation, we began to see improvement in both the autistic and non-autistic behaviors. So the question tonight, which is autism neurodevelopmental, we are actually dissecting it and looking at the different facets of autism and looking at how they can be approached, from which angle, by who. And another important aspect of it is that a lot of people still do not understand the right way to approach these problems. A lot of doctors are still intrigued. A lot of professionals are still asking questions, what do we do? How do we do it? And what is even this condition? Even me as a parent, sometimes I'll just be like, what exactly is this? What exactly is this? But now I'm just going to chip in about emerging, intervention styles or intervention programs that are coming up here and there that people, parents, professionals are using to address some of the symptoms of this condition. One of them now that is very, very, if I say very, very popular, is the stem cell therapy. So stem cell therapy in a layman's understanding is that in most cases, there are two types, but in most cases recently, due to ethical issues, in most cases, what doctors do now is that they bring out the stem cell from the bone marrow of a child, purify it, and re-inject it to the site that it is needed to recreate fresh cells. Let's say a child requires a mental improvement in their mental capacity or mental activity. They will put it in an area where the stem cells are going to regenerate into neural or brain cells. So let's say a child has something like cerebral palsy, where they require new muscle cells. They will bring out the stem cell from their bone marrow, purify it, and put it in the area where those cells are going to, recreate into muscle cells. Let's say you have like a knee problem, some of the pains in the knee is because the cartilages have worn out and the bones are touching each other. The scientists will bring out the bone marrow, purify it, and put it where it's supposed to produce those cartilages that will cushion, that will serve as a cushion between both bones, to create a cushion where the bones will have to stop rubbing each other. This process has been used to address a lot of diseases, a lot. But the one that is making waves now is like bone leukemia. Leukemia is one that has become almost mainstream, has become almost mainstream, in the sense that a lot of countries, a lot of hospitals, a lot of healthcare professionals have adopted it as a very effective cause for the treatment of leukemia. And what do? They put the stem cell so that the blood that is being produced is, a better type of blood is being produced. This also, a few people have also used this method for sickle cell disease. We know how excruciatingly painful sickle cell disease crisis can be. A lot of Yes, I know one personally who has done this process for sickle cell, and for almost the past 6 years, the young man is growing and thriving, has not had crisis. You don't even know anymore. The physical presentations are gone. All the medical manifestations are gone. For 6 years now, he has been thriving after stem cell therapy. Pardon?
I said that's a good advantage of science.
Yes. Science is really, really advancing. Science is advancing. So, for neurodevelopmental challenge, it's still hush hush. A lot of people still don't want to talk about it. A lot of people still talk about it. A lot of people have not accepted it as an approach. A lot of people have accepted it in addition to other therapies. Okay, take for instance something like hyperbaric oxygen therapy. A lot of people still don't believe in that therapy. But research is really doing very well, in the sense that even now, research says that hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which might have been the mechanism that it uses to improve people, research is now saying that hyperbaric oxygen therapy can improve stem cell therapy by up to 800%. So initially, when people would just do hyperbaric oxygen, just keep diving, they started experiencing improvement. We don't know the mechanism. I didn't know the mechanism then, but because, in the route of stem cell therapy, we are seeing some hospitals are offering hyperbaric oxygen therapy in addition to stem cell therapy. So in this process, people are beginning to see like good improvements in their children. So these are all approaches that healthcare, therapeutic care, medicals, regenerative medicine has started coming up. And these are all ways that teachers and carers are looking at using to support our children. Our children are a very complex ASD is a complex neurodevelopmental condition. So knowing that what helps one child may not help another, and knowing that the condition is multifaceted, it is not just malaria that you can say, let me just take malaria medication and it's gone. It's not diabetes that you say, okay, if I just adjust the insulin, it's gone. No, it is an array of conditions. We have seen one child who has ASD, who has cerebral palsy, who has Down syndrome, and still diagnosed with things like obsessive compulsive disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity. You know, just one child can be all of this. And believe me, only one of these is already like 7 different things. So the point here is that it is not just neurodevelopmental, it is an array of things that manifest as neurodevelopmental. Yes,
True.
it is a
The
collection
outcome
of.
shapes in neurodevelopmental.
Pardon?
I said its outcome
Yes.
reflects a lot towards neurodevelopmental, but that's not just only what it's about.
Exactly. The neurodevelopmental is like the manifestation of.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you bring together the medical aspect of it, you also look at the genetic aspect of it, you also look at the environmental aspect of it, you also look at the nutritional aspect of it. So some children, they gain a lot of milestones just by modifying nutritional deficiencies. Let's not even talk about all the genetic, maybe inborn errors of metabolism or organic acid things. Just by modifying the levels of zinc, magnesium, all this, some children really just get better. So all of these things can come together to form what we now see as a neurodevelopmental disorder. So the question today is, have we agreed on this analogy? Yes, have we agreed? I mean, we means parents and professionals. Have we agreed on this analogy? Because to a very large extent, we are still expected to, just bring the child, put him down, and somebody is just doing therapy morning, afternoon, night, morning, afternoon, night. Joy, do you agree with me on this one?
Is it on the steps wherever you see?
No. I'm saying that we are still expected to treat our children as if the only thing happening to them is neurodevelopmental challenge, whereby they will just be giving the child therapy without looking at the other facets that we just identified.
No. Only therapy will not work, man.
Exactly. Only therapy does not work. But what I'm saying is that the medical community, people that are out there, okay, out there means people that are not wearing our shoe. Exactly what I mean is that they still consider us as being intrusive, like we are doing too much by looking at different aspects of our children's condition, that we should just accept that, okay, a child is not talking, they should just put the child down and be giving him speech therapy. That we should not go and start looking at what are the major causes of the reason why this child is not talking. Yes, that's what I mean, Joy, that they still expect us to be seeing autism as a neurodevelopmental challenge rather than a collection of different challenges manifesting as a neurodevelopmental challenge. They still expect us to, okay, just bring the child to one place in the morning. They will be teaching him how to identify broom, basket, all this occupational therapy, and be teaching him how bring out your tongue, do the speech therapy and occupational therapy, and that is all the child needs. But we as parents, we as allied professionals, we have seen that there are many underlying causes. There are many underlying things that are manifesting as what we are seeing. And tonight we have been able to name these things as genetic, environmental, nutritional, and a lot of them.
Medical.
Yeah, medical. Yes, there are medical.
Yeah, you are very correct, because I remember some few years ago, Jesse was very, very hyperactive.
Yes.
I take him to when he goes to school, they will just use cane and be flogging him.
Are you for real?
Yes, stubborn boy. Sit down, doesn't want to hear.
Oh my goodness.
Then the more they flog him, the more the child gets more hyper. And then he runs, hits his head,
Oh
do
dear.
things, all kinds of behavior.
Yes.
You go to the church, you cannot even sit down in church for 2 seconds. Jesse will shout, scream, collect his phone, smash it on the floor, do all my. But when I started nutrition, really, oh my God. Someone was asking me some few days ago, are you sure this boy has autism?
Are you for real?
This one is looking normal. He's not the one that is talking to me. You know the child that is doing his work in class? I said, she is like a consultant to the school. So she hardly comes. She comes in once in a while. So when she got to my son's school,
Yes.
and we had a special need child who is in so class. And she just went to the window as she was watching him. She came out and said to the owner of the school, this boy, there's nothing wrong with him. He's normal.
That's the good news about this.
Yes.
Yeah, she called me. She said, Jesse's mom, they said our consultant said there's nothing wrong with your child. I laughed. I said she doesn't know where we're coming from.
That is
We
it.
had a lot of work on him. The boy has autism. She said, no. I said he has autism. He's autistic. He said he's not autistic. He's just a normal child. I said, okay, because he's very calm now. When he was very, very hyper, you will not even take him in your school.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the truth.
Exactly.
Therapy. You know how much I had like 4 therapies working on him. This therapy will come, this will come. Nothing. They were just collecting money. Nothing was happening. It was nutrition that did the work. I was talking to one that said she was a occupational therapist. I said, what did you do? Occupational therapy, you will go to school. You will carry the boy, climb the staircase. Did he stop hyper? Was he coming back? Nothing happened. So she just one day, she said, this is mom, the boy really said to this, now learning. I said, oh, you didn't know what I did at the background.
Oh.
But would you mind to share exactly when you say nutrition did the work, what were the, should I say, modifications that you made?
A lot. Ijama can tell you. I started with cleaning up my house. Every kitchen utensils I was using, I had to throw them away. I went.
Really?
I had to do for pots 1810. I took away all the plastic plates, all the plastic cups, all the plastic spoons, plastic whatever from my house. I stopped using all manner of home fragrance, this, that, even perfume to the body. We stopped. In fact, it was terrible.
Yes.
And then a lot. We did a lot. And then now to the food, you have to be intentional about the food.
Exactly.
I don't allow anybody cook for my son. I cook my food myself. I had a food vendor. I had a farmer I live in Port Harcourt, so I had a farm. I ensured that farm was just organic proceeds that comes from it. So the corn he is, the vegetables he takes were coming from a particular farm, because that was the only farm I could trust that there was no chemicals.
That was organic.
Yeah, that was organic. There's no chemicals. They use chemical even to the fowl, the chicken, the goat meat, everything. It's not a day job. Then even the you know, it's not every fish the child has to eat.
Yeah.
I had to go look for I went really native, like what they call this fish, asa. I had
Yeah.
to go to the north to look for asa, mangala. That's the only two fish I go for in bonga fish. It was not crayfish. I took crayfish because crayfish too can cause zigzag has some like I don't know what they said if you use a lot of crayfish. In fact, at that time it was allergic to crayfish.
I
Anything
think.
it was allergic to seafood. So and it took when I discovered that the healing has started taking place, when the boy started accepting the food, because it wasn't easy as well.
Yes.
And then the detox too. The detox, for detox, I was doing a lot of dandelion, cilantro, lettuce, then with cabbage, cucumber, and all of that. I juiced it. So it was taking a lot of juice of those greens, and that was helping with the detoxification.
Yeah, and the healing of the gut.
Yes.
The healing of the gut was actually the first step that started making him
Yes,
to
we
accept
started.
more
Chidema
food.
did a lot of work. The first step was to do the bone broth water, the fermented veggies, and all
The
of that.
sauerkraut.
That was helping to heal because immediately the gut started healing. The child started accepting food.
Yeah.
That was the calmness taking place. It wasn't a day job. It took a number of years, like almost 2 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. It was a gradual process. It wasn't just magic. Initially, I thought it was magic. So I was just thinking it was going to happen in 1 day, 2
Yes.
days, 3 days, months, days, and then
So it just shows that the journey is progressive and it's different from one person to the other. Like all these things you said now, it could be different from another child, from the management of another child. So I also agree with our host. That's why she usually says it's not just a one size fits all.
Yes, for her
One
son.
child would differ from another. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but the truth is that there are foundation. There are some that are peculiar to every child of the spectrum.
Yes.
Yeah. There are foundation, there are basics. Most of them have gut issues.
Yes.
Almost 90% of them have gut issues. So you have to heal the gut first.
And for most children, like in our previous classes, we talked about what nutrition deficiencies can mean for them. So most of the children that they say are not receiving food, when we see a lot of picky eaters, parents don't know that without eating the right food, even if you are taking medication, it will not work. Because the food is like the basis, the food is like the foundation. So what we do when we come is that we start that healing. And with that healing, you are bringing in nutrients in a very absorbable and manageable form. Okay, if Joy is going to tell you, you know that our healing recipe has protein, carbohydrates, spices, salt, oil that will come from the bone or the material you're using. So it's almost like a complete diet. It's a balanced diet that bone broth has. So when the child is taking that bone broth, it's sealing the stomach walls, and that is when the body is beginning to feel like, oh, I'm no more having invaders. Nobody is invading me anymore, because it is that initial time when the food will be passing through the stomach walls and getting into the bloodstream that the body was constantly fighting and the child is refusing food. So when the body is beginning to feel like, oh, nothing is invading me anymore because the holes are sealed, that is when the child begins to receive food. And it is only when the child is receiving food that the body even will start using whatever food you are giving the child. So the point I'm making here is that it is not just about giving the right thing. there is need to follow a process. There is need to know what to do and when to do it. Okay, if Joy should elaborate more, when the parents come to me, I will not just wipe off a meal plan and say, oh yeah, tomorrow morning go and start. Ask Joy, it took almost even 1 month, almost 2 months self to get the meal plan, because we had to do the test, and then it is the test that will tell us what to put in the meal plan. So during that period that we were doing tests and writing meal plan, Joy or any other parents will continue to heal the gut. The healing of the gut is happening. Gradually, you are healing the gut and healing the gut, so that when the food comes, the gut is in a very good state to start receiving, utilizing, disbursing, and making good use of the nutrients. So the point is, it is not just a day's job, like Joy said. It's not even a week job. I used to tell parents that what you are going into is a lifestyle change. You are changing your lifestyle. If you are intentional about it, your home will no longer be the same again once you enter that program. Why? Because you are going to change how you even perceive food. You are going to have a different concept of food. Food is no longer just about wiping up things and filling your stomach. Food is going to become intentional. It's not just that your child is hungry and then you just put hand somewhere, or you're going to buy me biscuits and give my child. No, it's no longer going to be that way. Everything your child is eating is supposed to be agreeing to his medical terms, to the things he can or cannot tolerate. And the most important part of it is the social impact. A lot of parents usually are not ready for what comes with it, because you are going to lose friends, you are going to lose families. In fact, some family members will stop coming to your house. Some friends will be angry with you until such a time they begin to realize that there's nothing else they can do about it. But if you are the type that is looking face, you will not be able to do this, because people will be like, you too do self. And the joy self, this joy too do is her own.
What is family?
Joy's own was so intense, and that is why she saw.
What is family?
Ma?
The worst is family members.
No, I didn't hear that.
No, I said the worst is family members.
Oh, the worst is family members. Oh my goodness. South Africans will say,
why are you giving the child a particular food? I have a sister-in-law, she lives in the UK.
Yes.
So we always travel, we go for summer, we meet in America. She comes from UK, I go from Nigeria. Like, why are you giving the child this food? Why are you not allowing the child to eat? You are frustrating this boy. I said, don't worry, I cook my food. So when we are going for beach park,
you carry your own food.
Everything, I carry my food. She will say, no, I said, you can't give my son that food. Don't do that. Eat your own. It's not your son. It's my son. She said, no, autism cannot do it. This child, I said, don't bother. The last time she saw him last year, she said, oh my God, what did you do? I said, oh, you're asking me.
You're asking me. All those times you are battling me.
If I listen to you, I'm sure the boy would have become something else. But because I was stubborn, I was intentional. It was head knock, like I must get solution.
Yes.
So I was not going to listen to anybody. I was fighting everybody that comes my way. It was terrible. I was putting so much emotion inside that. But I thank God that later I started realizing that I need to also have friends. Everybody was not my enemy.
No, the thing is,
community is needed.
Community is needed, but when it comes to this journey, it is about the right community. It's not just any community.
Yes, that's what I said. I said like-minded community.
Yes, like-minded community.
Because there are kinds of community that will be jeopardizing your efforts. You could have a house help. I remember, ask Joy, when we do consultation, we used to ask that house help should come, because the experience I had in my own home, you will write meal plan, you will do everything, and house help, because they have 5 naira, 10 naira, they will buy biscuits. I'm going to be giving the child at the backyard, and you will be claiming that your child is on the
I don't even allow herself cook myself, even till tomorrow. They know when they come, they know they can't cook for Jesse. They know.
Yes.
Because they are very wicked. Some of them, they will go outside. I had one herself. I said, no Maggie in my house.
Oh.
She said, how can she cook without Maggie?
A girl left my house because they don't cook with Maggie.
Yes. When I leave for work, she will go outside and buy Maggie, buy all the spices, and make the food.
Are you for real?
Jesus. When I realized that, I said, oh my God, come and live. You know, I lived like for 2 years, no hassle. It was just myself and my son. And I would go to work. I was supposed to be resuming like 7:30 every day. I go to work like 9:30.
Oh my goodness.
Sure, I was done with Jesse. Everybody knew that. They said, even at the time, they reported me to HR, everything. When they call me, I would say, please, I have a special son and I need to attend to him.
Yes.
He said, Dad, take the job or you allow me work. But for this boy, he's my life and I had to give it all it takes. So that's just it. The right people. The right people.
Yes. You have to have the right community. Sometimes it's grandparents, so that's your problem. But a lot of times, house helps, oh my God, they can jeopardize. The only when in my house now, there is a camera in the kitchen, so they have already noticed that the camera does not capture the store, so they will go and buy things and sit in the store eating, and then the child will pass and they will drag the child inside the store and give him things that in your mind your child is not eating, and your child will come and be misbehaving and be like, oh, what is going on, what is happening? And the bad part of it is that when these foods, they don't leave the body, some of them will stay like 3 months, 6 months before they can leave the body. So everything you have worked for will just be flat on the floor. So when it comes to community, it has to be the right community. The fight is not just, when people say they are fighting, it's not just system you are fighting. You are fighting your friends, you are fighting your family, you're fighting acquaintances. Even on the road, people will put mouth, hey, madam, give him biscuits now. Maybe everybody is eating biscuits. Is it not every child here they gave a bottle of mineral? Is your child different? And they are still seeing that the child is different. Yes, my child is different. So this is more like an encouragement to parents. The challenge, which we now have identified to be a neurodevelopmental challenge, is not just physical. Don't make anybody make you tie your child down in one spot and being therapists unending forever therapy. No. Look for why is this thing happening. There are other underlying causes. There are other underlying ongoing conditions, physiological, medical, situations that are happening in the body that is manifesting as a neurodevelopmental disorder. Don't be carried away by, oh, this one is not supported, this one is not. No. Yes, we can be scientific, but the truth is that we have not been able to join one-on-one together. Now, let me give an example. A lot of research came out saying gluten-free foods are not effective in supporting children with autism. It's true, for a large number of children, just removing gluten alone may not do much for them. But the truth still remains that it is the same research that has it that gluten, when not broken down properly, can cause opioid effect. Okay, And it is still the same research that realized that a lot of children on the spectrum lack the enzyme that breaks gluten, which is DP4 enzyme. So nobody has been able to come and put it together and say, yes, because they lack DP4 enzyme, they will not be able to break down gluten effectively. And when they do not break down gluten effectively, it could cause them opioid effect. But one person will just come and say, oh, you people are just doing a fad diet. You're just deceiving yourself. There's nothing like gluten-free diets helping children on the spectrum. My dear, it helps. It helps because when that child cannot break it down, it could cause an opioid effect. And the worst part of it is that when the child is behaving like a bull, hitting his head everywhere, hurting themselves like they don't have pain, it is the same people that will tell you to go and buy them helmets and buy them knee guard and buy all these physical things. And there is no solution. Those are not the solution. The solution is not in the physical. The solution is internal. And when there is an internal problem, you have to tackle it from within, not from the outside. We believe as parents, as allied medical professionals, we believe that the inside and the outside has to be tackled together to manifest positivity. You cannot just push in the outside and expect the inside to take care of itself. So the inside should be taken care of, and then the outside would want to complement by bringing the child up to speed. Like a child of 17, or okay, let me say a child of 8 who has not learned maybe language for a while, and they start healing from the inside, it will still take a speech therapy to bring them up to speed to start speaking like a child of 8. So that is what we are saying. Don't just push us to a corner and make us want to agree that what is happening to our children is only physical and only therapy can help them. No, we know better today. We know that there are things going on the inside that should be tackled, and then we use the outside to bring them up to speed. Please, my fellow hosts, are there are there like parting words you can say to our listeners, because I think our time is coming close.
Okay, so from my end, I just want to talk about the last issue you talked about, that is others not understanding why such parents are actually being protective and all of that. So I think, should I say, it might not entirely be their fault, in the sense that they do not have enough education concerning this subject matter. So it is possible, if they are better educated and better, should I say, counseled and made to know the reason why you are doing this. So I think if they know the reason why, maybe it could go a long way in helping, rather than them thinking you don't want to listen to them, you want to do things your own way and all of that. So I just get, probably they don't understand. That's just the issue. So it might not be that they are deliberately doing all of this, but they just don't understand.
Yeah, and that's true, but a lot of them still don't even want to understand because they feel they have superiority of knowledge. Joy will know what I'm talking about. You will go and see someone, a healthcare professional, or let's say a therapist, and they want to make you feel like because you are a parent, you don't know anything about what they are offering. Joy, can you say some parting words so we can call it a day?
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Joma.
Yeah.
And Your assistant host, I don't know what's her name.
Temilade.
Temilade, okay. Thank you for having me on this call. I actually stumbled into the call. I didn't even know
Yeah.
we were going to be live. All right. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Gemma has been very wonderful. She started the journey with me, even though Jessie was already like 5, right?
Yes.
When I met her. If I had met her earlier, probably like that 18 months or 2 years, I don't think I would have. But I still thank God that
No, it's still time. It was still early.
we started. It's better. They said it's better to start late than never.
Yes. So.
But God was merciful, and we thank God when we asked. We're not yet 100% there, but we
Yeah.
have made a lot of progress.
It's a
So
process.
thank you so much for all you do. Thank you for the support. Thank you for bringing the awareness to a lot of parents.
Yeah.
And so that as you continue, the Lord will give you more grace, and it's
Yeah.
going to be, so you've been doing a lot in the community. God bless you. Thank you so much. We do appreciate all your efforts. God bless you.
You're welcome, Joy. Joy is one parent that will give you joy because you see the the determination. Even she is motivating me. And I think it has to do with people that are joy. There's this other joy that's, oh my God, if you see the progress with her children, she has twins. She's fighting like a lion. If you see the progress with her children, in fact, the last time she sent me their video, there is no way you will believe that anything at all is going on. And by the time this woman started, the children were actually in special class, but in a space of 1 year, they were transferred to a mainstream class. It is that good, yes. But she did not stop. She has remained consistent and diligent, just like this other Joy. Joy, in fact, maybe I should go and change my name to Joy. These are people that are fighting for what they want for their children. Oh my God. And I really appreciate it's people like that makes you want to keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much, and you have added so much, flavor to tonight's discussion. Please be stumbling, every Tuesday and every Saturday by 10 p.m. we are here taking insights into autism, nutrition, developmental challenges, and all that come with it. For those on the YouTube, I am so grateful you have stuck with us for an hour plus. This is really amazing. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, my people on YouTube, on TikTok. It's been an amazing evening. We practically dissected the topic on if autism is actually a neurodevelopmental challenge. And from parents, from professional perspective, from parental perspective, we saw that it is not just neurodevelopmental, that in fact, neurodevelopmental disorder is a manifestation of arrays of challenges that make up autism. We saw the genetic part, we saw the environmental part, we saw the nutritional part, and we saw that it is all of these things that manifest to attack the rate of development, and we now see it as a neurodevelopmental disorder. So in other words, autism is a collection of disorders. It's a collection of challenges. It's a collection of conditions, a collection of abnormalities, collection of deficiencies. And parents should not be cajoled into believing that what is happening to their children is only physical, that you should just continue doing therapy and your child will turn around. No, your child is manifesting something that is going on the inside. And if you want to see your child returning back to you in terms of consciousness, receptive language, expressive language. Look inside, check out what is going on the inside, and begin to tackle it today. And guess what? At Brain Foods, that is what we love to do. We want to take you on a journey. We want to show you through a recommended medical test. We want you to see that the inside of your child is requiring some attention. And when that happens, we also take the work with you and offer you the best of intervention plan. Thank you so much for this night. Check out our website, the link in our bio. Our website, brainfoodsforgods.com, and we will be waiting to hear from you. Have a lovely evening. Those on YouTube, those on TikTok, we love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Temilade. Thank you, Mukta Muki on YouTube. I don't know your name is written in Russian language. Sorry, but you have stuck with me. Christopher Hernandez. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Have a lovely weekend. Enjoy your tomorrow. Bye.